Hi, I'm Gabrielle Usatinsky, and this is your Power Couple Relationship Tip. So in this video, we're going to continue our exploration of attachment theory and learning the main attachment styles so that you and your partner can figure out what attachment style you are. And that's going to give you a huge leg up in improving your relationship. If you like what you learn in this video, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And you can also go to thepowercoupleformula.com for lots more information about how to build a fantastic relationship. So in our last video, we talked about the ambivalent style. And in this video, we're going to talk about the avoidant attachment style. Now, it's not often avoidants who are watching relationship videos because they're not so interested in relationship, because they tend to have the tendency to distance themselves. That's why they're called avoidants, because they like to avoid social interaction in general, and they prefer to be alone. So very often, people who are watching these videos are the partners of avoidants who are trying to figure their partner out. So if this is you and you think your partner might be avoidant, or if you think you might be an avoidant yourself, this can be really useful information for you. Now, it's important that no matter what attachment style we're talking about, that we come at this with an attitude of compassion. Because when you understand, for instance, what creates the avoidant attachment style, then you can understand why a person would become distancing and would prefer to be away from other people. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. In terms of the avoidant childhood, what happens is avoidant children spend a tremendous amount of time alone, playing alone, and they're really lacking in that early experience that we talked about in the earlier videos, that children need, where they get that very direct, face-to-face, eye-to-eye, skin-to-skin kind of contact. Avoidant children don't get that. Often they're latchkey kids, or they're children who are expected from a very young age to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, kind of take care of themselves much earlier than a child should actually be expected to do that. So in avoidant families, there's a lot of shame for being dependent. Avoidant families don't do dependency. We don't like dependent children here. We want children who are successful, can look after themselves. We don't like to see sadness or pain or sickness or hurt, or any of those kind of vulnerable emotions are not accepted by parents who produce children with avoidant attachment. So you can imagine how difficult, how stressful it is for a child to grow up in that kind of environment where they're not allowed to be needy, they're not allowed to be hurt, they're not allowed to be upset, because all children have lots and lots of needs. All children get upset, all children have bad days, and basically in that family, children are given the message that those things are not okay. And so as a result, avoidants develop a lot of shame, and they learn that they need to hide whole parts of themselves, whole parts of their experience, because they're just not acceptable to the parents, to the people around them. And again, if you remember that attachment is about children orienting their behavior in such a way to get the maximum amount of responsivity and availability from their parent, this is what a child needs to learn to do in that kind of family, is they need to learn to just say, I'm good, I'm fine, I don't have any needs, everything's perfect, I'm in control. So they learn to suppress those basic attachment needs, to the point that they don't even feel those needs anymore themselves. So, for instance, if you look at avoidant children, let's say avoidant toddlers, you'll see that they look very calm and collected on the outside. They're playing by themselves on the floor with toys. They don't look like they're under stress. They're like cool as cucumbers. But what we know from the research is that if you do a stress test on these children, you see that their cortisol levels are off the charts. Their heart is pumping a mile a minute, but they don't show any of that stress on the outside. So fast forward to adulthood, and the way that avoidant attachment creates problems in intimate relationships is, obviously, avoidants are very good at denying their own attachment needs. And as a result, they're also very good at denying their partner's attachment needs. So they tend to feel very annoyed by any sort of need for contact or comfort or soothing, reassurance, self-esteem building. Any sort of dependency need that is expressed by their partner tends to really annoy them. And they have this feeling like you should be taking care of that yourself. Now, our culture as a whole is an avoidant culture. Western culture is an avoidant culture. We have a cultural attitude that people should take care of themselves. Dependency is a bad thing. And the fact is, our culture has been going in the wrong direction with that for a very long time. So our culture is very supportive of this way of being in relationship, this avoidant attachment style. But the problem is that it doesn't work in relationship because it's actually very threatening to be in a relationship where you're being neglected, where you can't rely on each other. And so what avoidant partners need to understand is they need to understand where they come from, and they need to understand the fact that they are dismissing these very basic healthy needs, and that their partner actually gets to have these needs from them. It's very important that avoidants understand how afraid they are of their own dependency needs, that they're afraid to depend on anybody, and they're also afraid to have anyone depend on them. So as a couples therapist, avoidant attachment is one of the primary issues that we need to deal with very often right at the beginning of therapy, because a lot of times when a couple comes in and one partner is avoidant, that partner is blaming the other partner for being so needy. And so that avoidant partner needs to understand, actually, having needs is right and good. All of these attachment needs that your partner has from you are an expression of health. And these are things that we want people to have lots and lots of needs in relationship, to increase the needs and then get those needs met. So it can be very difficult for an avoidant to come to terms with the fact that they need to, open their mind to the fact that, hey, attachment needs are a good thing, and my partner has a right to need contact and comfort and connection from me, and that I need to start actually making pro-relationship moves, getting out there, reaching out, hugging, kissing, finding my partner, and engaging with my partner. And that's not only going to be good for my partner, but it's also going to be good for me as an avoidant. When couples really understand this, I see how much this changes their relationship. It can change the whole dynamic for the better, because suddenly this partner of the avoidant is able to start calming down because their avoidant partner is moving toward them rather than away. And fundamentally, what makes relationships work is that couples turn toward each other rather than away from each other. So learning to turn toward each other instead of away is, in a nutshell, what will build a fantastic relationship. There's so much more to say about this topic of avoidant attachment, but if you liked what you learned in this video, you can go to thepowercoupleformula.com for more information about all kinds of great relationship tips. You can also subscribe to this channel and give me a like on here, and write your comments and any questions you have about avoidant attachment, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.